ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। In this part 3 of the presentation on Path of Devotion, chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, let us recall what we have done in the previous session. The question is, what does devotion do to me? In that we saw, first it will make you recognize that life is infested with constant change and insecurity. Secondly, that you realize that you cannot control the changes, but you can embrace with inner strength. Thirdly, the inner strength is only when you anchor yourself with what is constant and that is permanent. Most important is the faith in God, who is the anchor for every devotee. And Lord Krishna declares that I will lift them up or uplift you, as well as all those who have that inner strength of faith from the ocean of constant change. Continuing, he said that to create that inner strength, first is that you must give your mind to me. Gurudeva has explained the mind is a constant flow of thoughts, and it is also, mind is very fickle, indecisive by nature. So devotion is to become more mindful about the constant presence of God within and without in whatever you do, and overcome this fickleness. When we are able to hold on to something which is constant, we are able to withstand what is changing. If we are holding on to what is constantly changing, obviously we have no anchor. Just like a ship, when it is anchored at the bay, it is able to stay there in spite of all the waves that are there in the ocean. It's because it is well anchored. In the same way, a devotee is so strongly connected to the Lord and anchored there, and therefore such a person can withstand all the changes that takes place externally and internally. As we are seeing so much of uncertainty around us all the time, especially during the times of war, famine, and various other natural disasters, etc. A devotee understands that, holds on to the Lord, and continues to face those which cannot be changed. At the same time, there must be the intellectual conviction as a means to drag the mind out of its emotional attachments. It's like a background score in a symphony. An individual is tuned to that background score so that all who are participants can do well in the same manner or with the same kind of rhythm. Lord Krishna assures that if you do so, you will stay with me without doubt. Continuing that, what is that which is considered as devotional practices? So to keep the mind away from the emotional upsurges, uncertainties of the world outside, how to anchor oneself. So what is the practice? So there are many practices to keep the mind away from its fickleness. One is repeating the name of the Lord, Japa, and it will restrain the wandering mind and give some focus. Secondly, the other practice, not necessarily it is inferior to the previous one, but I would say it is an alternate method, is to have a regular worship of the Lord with a specific time, place and methodology that will help the mind to keep itself in one place. And chanting the inspired prayers, from scriptures, and also thinking about the meaning, how it is relevant to me, how relevant to us as individuals, how it is relevant to a society, as a community, as growing in maturity, looking at the life situations with a better understanding. And that stability comes when we contemplate upon the prayers that are given to us every day at a particular given time in solitude with a quiet mind. So Krishna says that if you are able to do this kind of practices, then you will definitely evolve. But in case if you are not able to dedicate your time in these kind of regular practices, then get busy with your work, whatever you're doing, but become my agent. That means when you start representing God, this world, your perception, purpose, and way of life will undergo a dramatic change. Hanumanji was just a minister of Sugriva's ministry until he met Sri Rama. When he became his sevak, Ramaduta, his accomplishments were unbelievably great. He became unparalleled. Even Sri Rama was wonderstruck, not only by the implicit, innocent, continuous, deep devotion of Hanumanji, but also how much he could accomplish with that strength. Similarly, Balakrishna Menon was just one among thousands of journalists until he became the unique Swami Chinmayananda. He transformed the world of spirituality by sharing his insights on Bhagavad Gita to the world. He called the Bhagavad Gita as the man-making science, the one who gave the clarion call to the entire humanity that there is definitely an eternal message from the Holy Gita which can give such an inspiration to anyone in any field, at any time, in any manner, whenever one wants. And he proved it also in his life as a monk for over 40 years, 4 decades, constantly inspired, always engaged in teaching people the great message of Gita, and showed the world that one can create a transformation which is everlasting in the human world with his teachings. And so that transformation took place in him because of the devotion that he had gained through his study, through his dedicated service to his guru, and a constant touch with scriptures. So these are the things we saw in the last session. And also finally, Krishna says that if you are not able to even work as my messenger, then do anything that you're doing, but do not become anxious about the results of your action. Do and let go. So avoid anxieties while working by not worrying about the result. Focus on the work and the needed skills and energy to complete your tasks. But after doing your best, leave the result to happen. Just as we eat and let the digestion happen, allow the parameters governing the result to act on. Having completed your work, do not worry about it anymore. Let it happen. Upon receiving the result of your actions, offer it to the Lord, offer it to Him, and take it as a prasad. Have the gracious attitude towards what comes to you. So this way he gave the hierarchy of things. First to do the abhyas. First actually he said, give your mind to me and intellect to me. If you can't do that, practice. If you can't practice, work. If you can't work with an attitude that I'm working for God, then do what you are doing, but do not become anxious about the result. So this is what we saw in the last session. Now, when somebody is practicing one by one, or understanding that keeping the mind in the Lord is important, and that is the way to devote oneself to the Lord. As Bhagavan said that if you can't do the practice, if you can't practice, then work for me as a messenger. If you can't work for me, then give the results at least. Now, in a different way, Krishna puts it, this hierarchy of progress. And this is very interesting. Now, let us see here. He says, knowledge is greater than mere practice. Because practice without clarity and mere repetition, many people get into this habit of chanting the name of the Lord, and because it is told to them to do by their parents or by their gurus or whatever, and they keep on repeating while doing something else, while cooking or while walking, while doing other things. And this mechanical practice, merely repeating in the as an utterance, without mind's participation, without the participation of the mind, it's just to become a habit, and no habit will really make you perfect. Please understand this. Habits don't make you perfect. Practice makes you perfect. Now, from habit to practice itself is a very steep progress. What do we call it as swabhava and abhyas in Sanskrit? Swabhava is what you repeatedly do without thinking. Abhyas is same, doing repeatedly but with understanding. And every time you do it, you progress. So when you are practicing dance, let us say you are practicing Kathak or practicing Bharatanatyam or practicing Odissi dance, practicing music, practicing karate, practicing taekwondo, practicing math. Every time you do it, you are better than what you did yesterday. Today is better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better than today. And that should be the focus. So that practice is no doubt better than mere mechanical repetition. Now, beyond even the practice, beyond just repeatedly doing with an intention to progress, beyond that also, what it remains is knowing, clearly understanding, and then doing it. Gurudev used to give the example, I might have said this earlier also. There are three kinds of people in the world of action: laborers, leaders, and missionaries. A laborer is one who is asked to do something. Let us say there is somebody is building a bridge. The laborer would just carry on the work as it is given to him by the supervisors or whoever. Do this task. Today's task is this, you accomplish. So that person takes those worksheets and start to get that accomplished. At the end of the day, he is given the wages, and he goes home enjoying. He is not bothered about what happens tomorrow. He is not interested in what is happening, because today's work is complete. I have finished the task and that's it. I am done. Whereas the supervisor, who is an engineer there, who is looking at the entire project, he will say, hey, I accomplished it today this much through my workers, and tomorrow I have a schedule, and day after another schedule, and in a month I have to accomplish this much. In 6 months I have to complete this much. In a year's time I have to complete this. So this is a leader who knows what he's doing. and how he has to accomplish through his workers every day. So when he gets back home at the end of the day, he's thinking about next day. What am I going to do next day? What are the tasks to be accomplished? So he's a leader. But understand, a visionary. A visionary is not just a leader. He's thinking, why is that the bridge is being built? What is the purpose? What is the very reason why I have to do this? How it is helpful to the people living in this place, and how well I can build this, and how I can improve on this. How do I do better in another next project with greater technology? So in this simple field of just building a bridge also, a worker is only interested in the work at hand and not bothered about what happens. A leader probably is worried about the project and making sure that the project is complete. But a visionary is not one who just stops at the very completion of the project. He's thinking about what best he can do better than what he has done so far, because he constantly updates his knowledge. He improves improves his own understanding, his skill set, his ability, technology, know-how. In the same way, in the path of devotion also, one can just keep on repeating the name of the Lord. That is a laborer. And a person, what I call it as a leader, is one who pays attention. He brings his mind while he's doing. He is better than the previous one. But the one who is having the right knowledge, the clarity about the path and the goal from the authentic sources, that such a person has got knowledge, understanding, and that won't go away just by completing a task. So even as he completes the japa or puja or any other such practices, when he comes out of his prayer, the mind still is able to dwell upon the Lord, continue to connect with the Lord, because he has the knowledge that I just did it only to keep myself aware of his presence. So his presence doesn't become absent outside the prayer room. Even as I have completed my prayers, when I walk out, I still realize that he's walking with me. He's there. He's not just stuck in the temple. Bhagavan is not just stuck in the temple. He's in my heart. From where I started to practice, I pray, and I'm now carrying him with me. He's with me. So this knowledge, this understanding is what makes knowledge better than practice. Bhagavan says, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. Knowledge is greater than mere practice. But is that the end? No. Next he says, meditation is better than knowledge. Jnanat dhyanam vishishyate. So as we saw, knowledge, no doubt, there is clarity about the path, the goal, and from gaining from the authentic sources. Properly guided by a guru, properly understood from scriptures, properly learned from other devotees, understanding the Lord is not just in a temple or a church or a mosque, he is living in the heart of everyone. This knowledge is there. But then the concretization doesn't take place. Meaning, it has become an understanding, all right, but an attempt to experience him, attempts to be in his presence fully, without any distractions in the mind, takes place only in solitude. This assimilation of knowledge with a quiet mind, not an activity, not engagement in some task, but exclusively staying there, focusing upon the continuous, inspiring, holy presence of the Lord within me. That I need to experience, that I want to know for myself. It is like, I have a breakfast, and after having breakfast, it is with me now. Externally, it was there. When I was about to eat, it was outside. When I start to eat, it became inside. All right. Now I have the food inside me. But this inside food, whether I want it or not, it's slowly getting digested and becomes part of me, and now you cannot separate me from the food. In the same way, mere practice is an external activity. Knowledge makes it become internal. You started to have it in you, but then assimilation. You start to have it as your own being. It's no more outside you. It is you. And you and knowledge has no difference between yourself and knowledge at all. This assimilation, becoming you, the God is no more just a host of me, or I am not the host of God. I am Him. I am His expression. This realization happens only in the quiet hours of meditation. This quiet meditating mind thereafter has no doubt about it. Thereafter it doesn't seek any external sources to prove. Just like when I have assimilated the food and it has become me, then hunger is gone. There's no more need for me to go for further food because I'm now satisfied. Of course, in the case that this is a limited example where after some time you get hungry again. But in the case of one who has meditated and realized God's presence within oneself, will have no more doubt. I am His presence. He is expressing through me. That experience takes place in meditation, dhyana. But that is not the end. Further going, Krishna says, meditation is fine. You have assimilated everything. That is, you have realized that God is your own being and you are His expression, right, in meditation. But then when you come out and start looking at the world, do not think that this world is different from Him. Every tree, every plant, every bird, every animal, everything that is there in this world as world is His presence. Not in you alone, in everything, known or unknown, seen or unseen, inert or sentient, plant, animal, human, all. And recognizing this, you have no more anxiety about the result of your action. Even the result of meditation, you think something else, that also you give up. Meditation doesn't lead to anything else. It is not an action. As you know, when we complete an action, result comes later. Meditation is where the result is within itself. That is why Shankaracharya very beautifully said, any other action will have a result happening afterwards. Meditation, or this meditation done with the knowledge, is that the result is to know that who you are already. What I have not realized before is now I know. It is like, I knowing myself as human, I knowing myself as a living being, is it a result of something? Did I do something for it? Did I do any action for that? Knowing that I am human, knowing that I am a living being is not a result of an action. In the same way, meditation is making you recognize, to know what you already are. So, therefore, when I have recognized the Lord is in me, as me, thereafter, what am I anxious about? What do I want from this world? That fulfillment, that joy, that completeness, that perfection, the wholeness does not anymore require anything else. A complete person, a fulfilled person you become. And then therefore you let go all anxieties, all worries. And that absence of anxiety while living, worried about the future, none of those will be there in a person when he reaches the highest. So it's interesting that practice, compared to practice, knowledge is better. Compared to knowledge, meditation is better. Compared to meditation, the final letting go is greater. And that letting go leads to a total peace, a complete fulfillment, a joyful presence, an inner contentment, and perfect happiness. And this is the final goal of all devotees, to be in that bliss, to be in the bliss of the Lord. It is like when somebody is in deep sleep, is it not true that such a person who is sleeping very soundly, very beautifully, very deeply, you try to wake him up, he is so reluctant to come out. And if at all you are successful in waking him or waking her up, as soon as that person wakes up, because you have woken him, so she or he will ask, why did you wake me up? Huh? See, if I'm sleeping well, and around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning you wake me up, so first thing is what I will ask, why are you waking me up? What is that you want me to do at 3 o'clock in the morning? And you say, nothing, I just wanted to wake you up. You get very upset, isn't that? See, if you have a flight to catch, or you have to go somewhere, you have to do something at 3 o'clock in the morning, then you wake up, and why am I waking up at 3 o'clock? Oh, yeah, I have to complete this task. I have to do this. I have to call someone in India, whatever. So you wake up and then complete that task. And then what do you do? If you have nothing else to do, go back to sleep, isn't it? So in the same way, a person who is in perfect bliss with the Lord has reluctancy to come back to this world of happening. And such a person, if at all he or she comes out to engage in this world, they will do it only to go back to their condition of their nature of complete bliss. And while they are working also, their intention is to complete the job, and they don't even wait for the result. Okay, whatever it happens, happens, and then I go back to that same state of peace. Just giving an example. So just like a person who is fast asleep, and if you wake him up, he will, first question is, why am I waking up? In the same way, a person in perfect bliss, when he comes back to, for whatever reason he comes to the world to act, his only intention is to complete the task and go back to a state of happiness. So that, if we keep it as our goal, and while even working also, he's not losing, he's not impatient, he's not restless, because he knows whenever he wants, he can get back. By choice I have come out of it, by choice I can go back also. I know the way. I know the way to go back to that state of peace. I'm not going to struggle. I'm not going to wait for the world to give me a permission. Once I finish, I'm back to my state of bliss. Nobody can stop me. And when I want, I'll come out. When needed work, I'll do and go back to my state of bliss. That is the final outcome, as Bhagavan Krishna would say, Tyagat Shantihi Anantaram. Endless is the peace for the one who knows how to let go. So this is such a beautiful set of instructions Bhagavan gives in this chapter. Now it is no doubt very rare to find such a fulfilled masters in our life. If you happen to see a person of this nature, of total fulfillment, joy and completeness and happiness, you are very, very lucky. I have to say, I am very, very lucky to see such an accomplished person in Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmaya. Very, very, very blessed. Because he just demonstrated the qualities that I am going to talk about, which Krishna speaks as qualities of a devotee. It is very rare. I mean, in our scriptures, there are many such great masters have been mentioned. In the world of poetry, or in the world of poetic devotional literature, you have Surdas, Tulsidas, Kanakadas, and Mirabai, and many others. In the world of mysticism, you have Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, In the world of knowledge, you have Swami Vivekananda, Aurobindo, and Brahmana Maharshi, and so many others. So, what we see is all these great masters in spirituality. I'm encompassing spirituality as a whole, whether it is a mysticism or devotion or knowledge or yoga. In this world of spirituality, what we see is that these great masters have similar qualities. Even though they lived at different places, at different times, following different traditions, practicing in different ways of perfection, but ultimately what we find, not only in India, if you take outside also, Jesus Christ, Buddha, and so many other Moses, and many others who have become giants in their own world, in their own society, in their own community, in their own times, they all have very similar traits. It is to only show the universal trait of a devotee, a perfect master, is the same. They are the same. So Krishna here brings in what is the universal traits, the common qualities of a perfect person. A person who is also a devotee, he has a correct knowledge, he has a correct vision, personal realization, qualities of a leader, one who has the vision for the world. What are the qualities? Now we'll see. The first one is absence of hatred in all creatures. All these masters have expressed this. They had absolutely no hatred towards any community or a set of people based upon their religion, region, caste, color, creed, gender. None of those. They were giving universal approach, universal love to everyone. A complete love, unconditional love. And how is that? So a devotee who seeks to see him in all cannot but extend love to all. It is like when I see myself in a mirror, whatever be the mirror showing me as, it is me, right? I love it. Even as I get old, I may probably think that I should do something about it. But because I love myself, I would like to do something about it. If I don't love myself, I don't care about it. See, if you are at home and if you are going to your backyard and looking at your garden, which is not maintained properly, obviously you will go there and then do something to clean up the place and then probably bring new plants and water it, and you do, why it is you feel that it is my garden. You go to the neighbor's garden and it is not well, and you say okay, and let him take care of it. See, the point is, what I'm trying to say is, when I connect myself to a thing, when I have an identity with something, I would like to care about it. I love to do something about it. And great masters are not those who have a set of people to identify with. Not one or two people. The entire creation. The whole creation is mine. Just like how, a mother would look at all the children and say, all these are all mine and I have to do for all of them. In the same way, Bhagavan, God who created the entire universe, would you think that he will ignore some people and then take care of only few people? If at all he does that, it is only for the betterment of those people who are not doing the right thing. So, identified with the Lord, I cannot but love everyone. No hatred. The first sign of a devotee is he has no such bitterness in his heart. And love is less when differences are more. More differences you see, less love we will have. Gurudev used to say that a person loving another person means they are ready to let go of the differences. Even though there are differences, they are ready to let go. Other person may have a difference of opinion with me, and he may or she may think something differently than me. But It's okay, that's what you think, that doesn't matter to me. So then love is where you overlook the differences and focus on the one which is a common factor. So love is where there is less and less difference. Love is less when the differences are more. So a devotee connects with the other person not as a physical being or an emotional being, but the Lord who is blessing and residing in me is the Lord who is blessing and residing in the other person as well. So everybody is worthy of that love. Everybody is worthy of that joyful companionship. So when it comes to that love for all, positive expression of that is the compassion. A feeling that, everybody needs care. Everybody needs to be accommodated in my life. Everybody has playing a part in my life. So here it is in the form of this, just like the nature. A tree which is giving fruits do not discriminate between whether to give it to you or somebody else. It just gives unconditionally. It is receiving its energy and sustenance from the water and sunlight and everything else. But when it gives back to everybody. It doesn't own it itself. It doesn't deny it to anyone. Nature always gives. Sun, moon, fire, water, air, space, trees, plants, all of them are just constantly giving. So a compassionate devotee is one who will imitate this nature of the nature. Always unconditionally accepting everyone and ready to help anyone with utmost love. So it is said that if you want others around you to be happy, practice compassion. And if you want yourself to be happy, practice compassion. This is said by Dalai Lama. So compassion is the key word here to be happy. People around you will be happy when you are ready to accept their difference, accept their limitations, and you are compassionately approaching them. And compassion is a thing, it is different from passion. See, when we have a passion about something, we will be eager to be with that person or a thing. But compassion is there, it's not a compelling passion. It's not compromise of passion. It is a completeness of that passion. That passion is not for a thing. Passion is to give the same thing to everyone. That compassion. Not discriminating, but treating everybody with same love. The next one he says is being friendly. Bhagavan Krishna says that the friendliness, it's called Mitra Bhava. So the Mitra Bhava, so that's why sun is called Mitra, one of the names for sun. Why? Because it's just expressing itself. And that expression of the sun is light. Expression of the sun is heat. So that very simple expression of itself is a blessing to the entire world. So who is a friend? Feeling at ease with everyone irrespective of differences of opinion. So a friend is one who makes you feel at home. When you are with your friend, you don't need to put a makeup on. You don't need to pretend to be something else. You don't need to do something to impress that person. Once he or she has become a friend, he or she will accept you as you are. And so being friendly to people means what? Making people at ease. In your presence, nobody should feel restless. Nobody should feel disrespected or ignored. You are making it all of them feel at home. Don't we say that when people come, your friends come home, hey, feel at home, guy. What do you mean by feel at home? Don't bother. Do whatever you want. I'm ready to accept everything. So, friend is one who will make you feel at so home. A devotee is one who makes the entire creation, not only the known people, entire creation feel at home. Because he says this is his home, Bhagavan's home. That's why we say Hari Om. Bhagavan's home. I am in his home and you are also in his home. So why should we bother about anything else? Just feel at home. And also a friendship is where sharing without possessiveness. A friend is one who does not say, oh, this is mine and that is yours. It's ours. What is mine is yours. As much as what is yours is also mine. There's no difference. Let us share. This entire creation is for us to share. Unfortunately, what happens to us is, I want to own more than what you own. I want to hide. So today's world, what we see, whenever there is an emergency, etc., people go and grab everything and hide everything, hoard everything. Now, everything is available for everyone. Of course, you have to pay a price for it, but they do not hide and aggrandize and, let all others go to dogs, let the whole world go, but I am safe. That kind of attitude is not friendly. A friend is one who doesn't possess, he only would share. So that is the nature of a devotee. Next set of qualities which Krishna points out is the absence of pride. So first one is, in this set of qualities, is absence of pride. What it means? See, pride is an inflexibility of the mind. Just like physical inflexibility means old age. A person who is inflexible in the body, rigid, inflexible in the sense that is not able to sit down properly because it is so tight, and if he's sitting and cannot lie down easily, the whole body becomes so tight. And such a body which is tight and causing a lot of pain constantly irritates an individual. As we get old, the physical body becomes firm, and we have to continuously feel that irritation. In the same way, if a person is inflexible in the mind, such a mind, inflexible mind, is called the mind which has pride. I am important. I am great. I am to be noticed. I am to be appreciated. And if he or she is in a place where the person is not recognized or noticed, so becomes so unhappy, irritated, and would like to come out and get out of that place. So it is in a feeling of self-importance. So there are many curses with pride and there are many blessings with humility. On the other hand, a person who is flexible is able to withstand even ignored when he is ignored. It is like, the example that is given when there is a heavy wind. If a tree which is standing, which may be tall and strong, with a heavy wind it will break. Whereas if you look at a grass which is so flexible, it will turn, it will move in the direction where the wind is blowing, and once the wind stops, it will come back to its original position. So yoga also, physical yoga also, why practice of yoga has become so prevalent and important for healthy people? Because body gets flexible because of the practice of yoga. So physical flexibility makes you healthy, mental flexibility makes you happy. So if you want a happy, healthy person, you should have physical flexibility as well as mental flexibility. And so that itself is a great blessing. So this mental flexibility of the individual, it's possible only when he or she has pure love for God. When the God is there, why should I be holding on to certain ideas of mine, opinions of mine, and expect everybody to accept that? Why I need to be noticed and given importance by anybody, because Bhagavan knows who I am. And I have complete faith in the Lord who will take care of things. I do my best and leave it to Him to do the rest. And even if nobody recognizes me, it doesn't matter because Bhagavan is there. See, in this world of so many people, how many of them really, really, really feel the Bhagavan, the Lord is there? Very few. Is it not? Is Bhagavan unhappy about it? No, he is not. He continues to serve everybody through nature, through everything. In the same way, a devotee, you know, even nobody recognizes me, nobody knows me, but I will continue to do the best to the world. So such a person will have absolutely no pride about what he does and no self-importance there. So the next one he says is absence of possessiveness. Holding on to something. See, when I hold on to something, that actually holds on, not that that object is holding on to me. I become a slave to that. Do you mean to say computers that you have, PC that you have, the phone that you have, the iPad that you have them or they have you? Who owns whom? I cannot live without my phone. I cannot live without my iPad. So who is the slave here? The inert object is not the slave. You are the slave to that object. I cannot live without coffee. The coffee becomes master and you are the slave. I cannot live without burger. Burger becomes master and you are a slave. See that? What you possess starts to possess you as though. So when start to see God has given to us everything. Even this very life itself is God's gift. As Gurudev said, what you have is His gift. What you do with what you have is your gift to the world, to the Lord. So whatever we have in our life itself is a great gift from the Lord. We must recognize that. We cannot own it. When I see beautiful mountains beautifully around me, I can enjoy it. I can really appreciate the beauty of it. But I don't own those mountains. You go to a resort, you go to the valleys, you go to beautiful nature. You can enjoy it. Nobody stops you. Don't see the nature. Can anybody say, don't see those mountains, don't see this snow? No, I can see. Nobody can stop me seeing those. But you can only see, you can enjoy, but you cannot own it. So also this world, everything in this world is given to us for us to experience Him, the Lord's presence. We just experience and enjoy His presence and do not have this habit of possession. Don't try to own it. Life is a privilege. Only to use all that one has to serve Him. To serve Him alone is everything that is given to us. So let us direct all that abilities, all our skills, all our thoughts and emotions as a seva to the Lord, as an offering to the Lord, as a simple gratitude to the Lord. As our offering, we must make sure that we do it with humility, with reverence, with gratitude, with love, with compassion. And He is not coming to you in front of you and say, come and give this to me. No, He comes in the form of your neighbor. He comes in the form of your friend. He comes as a stranger. He comes as totally unknown to you. And that's why it is given in our tradition, Atiti Devo Bhava. A person whom you don't know, you have never met him in your life or met her in your life, a person who is totally unknown to you, should be treated as God, should be treated like as though Lord has come to you, and you must behave, you must accept, you must revere, you must offer, you must share. And that attitude is a nature of a devotee. Equanimity. So being equal in different circumstances, various conditions in life as inevitable. Understanding that joys and sorrows, success, failure, all these things can happen in our life without we asking for it. But in these conditions, keeping a balanced mind, keeping balance of mind to consistently abide in the inner peace, that is the nature of a devotee. This balance of mind we only can maintain. External world will change, but what cannot change, what should not change is our inner integrity, love, peace of mind, and that balance we must always keep. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.